Yes.
Let's get right into it now. Parliamentary impasse. We have Supreme Court. They did a ruling yesterday. We're going to give the details to us today. Hopefully, by close of day, we should have the details of and their reasoning behind each of the judges' position, because we had two opposing views. We had the 5 on one hand and then 2 against. Now, the Supreme Court describes vacation of seats as unconstitutional. Let me go to a couple of our papers here. So we have the Ghanaian Times saying that Supreme Court, it's unconstitutional. Court to file reasons and orders to Afenyo-Makin's case today. Page 12 of the Ghanaian Times has that, and let me get right into it. What we have here, the Daily Graphic also has headlines as well. It says there, Supreme Court quashes Speaker's decision, 4 MPs remain in Parliament. Let me just read what we have in the Ghanaian Times for you. Now, Speaker's declaration of 4 seats vacant. Supreme Court speaking. It's unconstitutional. Court to file reasons and orders to Afenyo-Makin's case today. The Supreme Court, by a 5-2 majority decision yesterday, declared the ruling of the Speaker of Parliament to declare 4 seats vacant unconstitutional. The Chief Justice, Justice Gertrude Saki Tokonu, joined Justices Mariama Owusu, S.K.A. Asiedu, E.Y. Jewu, and Y. Dako Asare to hold that Mr. Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin was wrong in announcing 2 new Patriotic Party seats, 1 independent seat and 1 National Democratic Congress seat vacant on October 17th. Justices Lovelace Johnson and Amadou Isifu Tanko dissented on the issue of jurisdiction. The court, presided over by the Chief Justice, Justice Gertrude Araba Saki Tokonu, who read the judgment, said the reasons and orders of the court would be filed at the court's registry tomorrow. The members whose seats were declared vacant were Peter Yao Kwachi Aka, the National Democratic Congress MP for Amenfi Central, Andrew Amuako Esiama, independent MP for Fomena constituency, Kwejo Asante, MPP MP for Suhum constituency, and Cynthia Mamle Morrison, MPP MP for Agona West constituency. Now, on October 18th, Mr. Alexander Afenyo-Makin, the majority leader, caused his counsel, Mr. Papa Kwesi Abedu, to challenge the decision of Mr. Bagbin at the Supreme Court. Now, in moving the ex parte motion, Mr. Abedu, who was led by Jogate, told the court that the Speaker's action amounted to usurping the exclusive and original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Now, he contended that his client filed the ex parte application because of the likely mischief that could halt the business of Parliament, especially committees chaired by the current majority members. Now, Mr. Abedu told the court that there was the likelihood of the current minority members doing everything in their power to hold the business of government in these dying minutes of the period to the 2024 elections. Again, he said, the ruling of the Speaker amounted to a denial of the constitutional rights of the 4 constituencies to be lawfully represented in Parliament. He said the intentions of the 4 MPs pursuant to Article 97(1) G and H were meant for the 9th Parliament of Ghana, coming in a different identity, and it did not amount to crossing carpet in the current Parliament. And I quote, "We can face mayhem if the pre-ruling status quo is not maintained," he said. Having heard the arguments from Mr. Abedu, the court ordered Parliament to allow the 4 MPs to conduct their parliamentary duties until the substantive matter was determined. Now, Parliament of Ghana is hereby directed to recognize and allow the 4 affected MPs or members of parliament herein named to duly represent their constituents and conduct the full scope of their duties of their offices as members of parliament pending the determination of this suit. All right, so that's a full reading of that story there in the Ghanaian Times, and the story written by Malik Suleimana. Right, now, before I take my thoughts from Natre, let me just welcome Lawuratu Musah-Saakah, who is with the communications team of the MPP. Lawuratu,
David,
how are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic, thank you. It's good to see you here. It's good to have you.
Good to see you.
All right. Great. Now, let's get right into it. Natre, your thoughts, where we find ourselves.
Thank you very much, David. I'll come to my thought on the issues coming out from the court. But before I do that, maybe I'll just take a minute of my own time to address some issues happening in my own constituency, the Lejoko constituency, and to let the NPP, their candidate and the team in the constituency know that they cannot campaign on the successes of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, going about and telling constituents to vote for John Dramani Mahama and then vote for their NPP candidate. They cannot, wash their hands off their failed candidate and then come and thrive on the successes, on the achievements of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. If, I always say that the NPP always go for the low-hanging fruit. So in Lejokuku, they'll go for the low-hanging fruit. I mean, they can't sell their candidates. And so they're actually helping us to actually sell our own candidates when they've actually abandoned theirs. And so constituents, yes, constituents, I mean my own ears and my own eyes. And so constituents of Lejokuku, maybe I render this part in Ghana, that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama care money ele o chameni ele ne ke ba chuni ele Lejokuku. The Honorable Benjamin Ayikunate eke enye ke Dr. Okoboy achuni eke shwobi chuni e wanye ka ha ni alakawo ni muko ke vote musket and blouse but vote me John Dramani Mahama no vote IMPP ebele na kan John Dramani Mahama care mo ni etwi hweo money eke ba chuni ko ni no ya ke hwere mo aba Lejokuku jiwo Honorable Benjamin Ayikunate ne ha no vote a wo ha JM 7 December call ballot presidential taw ma katanwa no fon shikie no kabo parliamentary hu taw ma katanwa no fon shikie no ka ha ni sure bi ko nlaka bo keshika ke akeshika ba hemo Ghana bi ashika na me na ya ju ke fon mi e waka me keshika ba hemo shika ha ni no ko nchake odwen mu kai mo blame ko Honorable Benjamin Ayikunate ke we hishi ye hejoke no fen no ni wacho mimi e wo pin mo fen leke wo ye ehyin wo ni ke wo ye kenya nye han wo hala another term ni ni chimo pa ni ejenshi ye constituency e mi ni echa no wo fe orphan constituency ni ka aja national keke wo ne ko kenya votes Eha Okoboy will continue to be an orphan constituency ka aja ni wo na eko share money nkeje His Excellency John Dramani Mahama de kaba have the constituents of Lejokuku lebi ne GN Nyiradon. Now, you see, if you ask me my own thoughts about the issues coming out from the court, I will tell you that I am not a legal practitioner. And so in an attempt to maybe scrutinize the happenings in court, I may not do maybe some justice to the matter. But I would run you by what legal luminaries have actually said.
Okay.
And then maybe I will top up with my own one sentence in actually capping everything that they have said.
That's fair.
You know Professor Kwekwaza?
Yes.
He has actually had a course to contemplate the inconsistencies coming out of the judiciary. Our own former Chief Justice, Sophia Akufu, had said that the judiciary has become too predictable. I'm sure you've also heard Mr. Chatuchi Kata say that the crises that he has seen in the judiciary are far more a cause for worry than even our economic crisis. Now, when you compare the levels of our economic crisis, that is unprecedented. And a legal luminary tells you that the crisis in the judiciary is more than the crisis in the economy. It should tell you something. Now, Mr. Martin Pebu has said that he expects the Speaker to fight back. These are the opinions of legal luminaries on their own assessment of the happenings in courts in recent times with political parties, with parliaments, and what have you. But in my own estimation, I think that whether Mr. Atuguba thinks that, well, whatever the Supreme Court says, Speaker is bound by it, whether Mr. Chatuchika thinks that, well, the crises are so grave, whether former Chief Justice says that, Sofa Akufu says that the judiciary has become too predictable. This morning, that is not my worry. My worry is that to bring an end to all this, so that we are not even beyond December 7th going to the Supreme Court for any election dispute resolution, the good people of Ghana must, in all the anger and hunger, in all the disappointment they have, coming from the confidence they actually reposed in the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia government, and for the shame they have given the good people in Ghana in return, we must vote against the NPP. We must vote against their presidential candidates. And we must vote against their parliamentary candidates. But one fundamental thing that I'm happy about, David, this morning, is that at least we've had a ruling. And then it settles the matter on your own colleague, Jude Duncan, who has actually become a subject of harassment. This morning, Jude, wherever you are, my heart goes out to you. That in your line of duty, you've actually come under, some form of attacks. I mean, hazards of the job. But I'm happy.
But the man apologized.
That, maybe let me make my point. But I'm happy that at least Jude can heave a sigh of relief from all the embarrassment, from all the harassment, where political party figures, especially Mr. Afenyomakin, can tell Jude in the face that you don't know your job. And you don't know why your media house has brought you to be a court correspondent. Really. Secondly, I'm happy that your colleague at Multimedia, Kwekwa Asante, can also heave a sigh of relief that the embarrassment, the name calling, and the body shaming that he has actually had to endure under Mr. Afenyomakin would at least come to an end. But you see, the NPP in Parliament says their bother was where they had wanted to sit. I'm happy. The NPP has gotten the seats they want to sit. They should go and sit. The NPP has gotten the statues they wanted to mount. They have mounted. The NPP has succeeded in the holes they had wanted to dig. They have dug. But the NPP will not succeed another time at deceiving Ghanaians that vote for us, because we have what it actually takes to turn the fortunes of this country around. And then they will come, and then the fortunes are for just them and their apparatchiks, and not in the interest of the good people of Ghana. Now also, I think it is also fundamental to note, David, that you see why I said on this platform and other platforms that organized labor came out to tell the good people of Ghana that they have called off their strike because the president, among other things, said that with immediate effect, they are withdrawing all equipment from Galamsey's sites. The president promised them that when then Parliament was on recess, that when Parliament reconvened, they would actually go into Parliament and then repeal the LI 2464. That give the president discretionary powers to actually let people mine in our water bodies and in our forests. Right. Today, Parliament has reconvened, and then it has actually been suspended. Parliament will reconvene and Parliament will be suspended. You have never seen, in the interest of the NPP's letter that they wrote to the Speaker, that let us reconvene Parliament, never did they mention anywhere that they have plans to actually repeal the LI 2464. It didn't come up anywhere. It should tell you that not only can the NPP scam God, the NPP can scam organized labor, the NPP can scam the aged. See, the NPP are a group of very dishonest individuals. Because if they were not dishonest, they would at least take responsibility for something. In this parliamentary impasse, the NPP will blame chairs, the NPP will blame journalists, the NPP will blame the Speaker. See, the NPP would blame everything but for the hair on their head. That one, no, you can't touch. They will find a reason for every incompetence. The NPP would find a reason for every misbehavior. The NPP would find a reason for every bad example they set. And now, David, I'll come to your issue on apology. David, apology is not mere words. Apology is a changed behavior. When I was listing the people, the journalists, your colleague journalists who have been attacked, I did not mention just journalists of ChannelOne. I mentioned journalists also of multimedia. So are you telling me that on the basis of apologies, parliamentarians or political figures should go on and attack,
please wrap it up for me,
and attack media persons in the discharge of their duties and then come back and apologize? In wrapping up, see, the NPP has gotten what they had wanted. We are grateful to the Supreme Court for that. But what the NPP could not do in 8 years, would they do in 28 days? Hey, what the NPP could not do, right, from the beginning of January 2017, are they ready now to fight for seats? Okay. And to fight and to sit on those seats in Parliament before they are able to actually reverse the e-levy? That they actually, against every resistance, every opposition from citizens,
thank you,
they actually put us through.
Thank you.
So what I'm saying is that what 8 years didn't do, what the NPP did not achieve in 8 years, I am sorry, they cannot achieve.
Thank you.
In less than 30 days.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, Lawuratu.
Good morning, David. Good morning to our viewers. And sometimes it's quite intriguing to sit down and read and listen to certain things. Akusi Ochiri still works here, right? She's here. Yeah. Good morning to her. After she was assaulted by NDC tax in Ododo. If you are Pukua, I hope they've paid her hospital bills. But those are not the issues. That if we want to run a litany of assaults on journalists, I don't think we'll leave the studio this morning. But that's not to justify it. Between Duncan and Honorable Afenyo-Markin, it was a matter of opinion. Honorable Afenyo-Markin didn't hit Duncan's microphone or hit the cameraman's, like they did to a GTV reporter. And I'm here to see any government in the life of this Fourth Republic carry journalists in a tipper truck to go and do a coverage. So some of these things, when we are talking about them, we need to be careful. Because when you point your finger at one person, the rest are as to you. But you see, David, in the wake of all the challenges we are having, in the wake of all the issues we are having in this country, at least the New Patriotic Party, the government led by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia are not preaching hate. They are not preaching anger. They are not rubbing salt in the injury of people. They are not telling citizens that they've acquired dead goat syndrome and that whatever they say, they are preaching hope. Hope and solutions to our challenges in this country. And building on social interventions. that the current flag bearer of the NDC cannot relate to. Let's go to what is happening in Parliament. Because we've put our governance in a setup of 3 arms. And by virtue of what media people do in this country, you are viewed as the 4th estate of the realm. But we have the executive, we have the legislature, we have the judiciary that checks each other. The legislature checks the executive, which is headed by the head of state. And interestingly, the executive, usually when you have a company or an institution, the CEO is usually not the board chair. But in the case of the executive, the president leads cabinet. In the case of the legislature, the speaker chairs the board. Then the CJ, who is the head of the 3rd arm, also leads the judiciary. How did we get here? And you see, when we say that our compatriots in the NDC have nothing good for them, it's just about the votes. It's just about elections. It's not about this nation and how it will push. So you hear them and it's election and vote them out and punish them and all that. How does that inure to the benefit of the ordinary Ghanaian? How did we get here? The former minority leader, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, stood on a campaign platform and said they were going to invoke Article 97 and become majority. We've started doing parliamentary business on campaign platforms. Is that the new thing we are introducing? Upon hearing that, the majority leader sought for interpretation of that article duly. And when you say, they'll say, oh, the Constitution is supreme, but the Constitution is in the bosom of the judiciary. And they have the mandate to do interpretations or explanation when it comes to the Constitution. That is the fundamental law that guides this nation. Even in our basic associations that we form, one of the fundamental things you told is no matter how you write or draft your association or group's constitution, it is not supreme to the constitution of this country. So whatever parliament does is still subject to the 1992 constitution, which is in the bosom of the judiciary. So he sought interpretation. Whatever machinations the minority did is up to them. It comes onto the floor. A statement is made. Speaker says, I'm going to consult or come back with my ruling. He comes back with his ruling. The majority disagrees with that, takes it to the Supreme Court. There's a stay of execution. But there are still remedies or other laws that you can evoke to recall Parliament. David, today, if I come to your studio and I come and sit in the host chair, there's a reason why seats are allocated for different purposes. I can sit on any of the guest chairs, but I can't sit in the host chair. By convention, and by the way, our parliament runs. We don't run like other jurisdictions that you walk in and anywhere you want to sit, you sit. We, by virtue of our, the way we run our parliament, majority sits on the right of the speaker, minority sits on the left of the speaker.
But that's just convention.
That's convention.
Yeah.
And it's been working.
Yeah.
And by virtue of...
No, I'm saying that's just convention.
Yes,
because
but have we changed that convention? Have name tags been moved?
No.
The name tags are there.
Yeah.
Nobody has moved name tags. Parliament headed by the speaker with the clerk and all those other staff. Indicate where you sit. By convention, majority sits on the right. Name tags are there. Were those name tags moved? Was there any arrangement to say that we are doing away with this convention? No. So, Parliament is recalled. And just as I said, minority that is only interested in an election and votes doesn't think about the ordinary Ghanaian, forgetting that the moment that you voted into Parliament is your constituency that you are representing. And the constituency is made up of citizens of this country, whether MPP, NDC, whatever party they find themselves in, you are representing them. So even if you want to do your party's bidding, think about those people. We saw how this 8th Parliament started. Chaos. Is that how they want to end it? Obviously not from the majority side. We wouldn't be part of any chaos. Speaker says he hasn't declared any new majority side. He hasn't, even when he made his decision, he said he, looking at whatever, and quoted the Constitution in addition. It wasn't solely on the standing orders of Parliament. It was on the Constitution, which is in the bosom of the judiciary. So you've made your decision, but he did it. I don't remember anywhere the Speaker said that now the minority is now majority. I don't remember that. Then you decide that because Speaker has made that declaration, that one is being contested. 2, there's a stay of execution in. Parliament is recalled, and you decide to cause chaos. Put on the back burner the issues that are important to this nation. So that what? The majority side should come and haggle you out of those seats, so there will be chaos, and it's like there's turmoil, nothing is happening. Nobody is going to give them that joy. But fast forward, the judiciary has made a determination that Speaker doesn't have the mandate to declare those seats vacant. They are yet to come out with the comprehensive reasons of that, but at least we all know yesterday there was a 5-2, David. There were a 5-2 decision as to what have to do. So at this point, Speaker, and like Honorable Justice Atubuga said, he could be charged for contempt if he doesn't follow those. It's binding. David, that is why in our law, you can seek, appeal a decision or seek for a review, and all those remedies are in there. You disagree. But the fact that you disagree doesn't mean you should run the person. And that's the modus operandi of the NDC. It's like once nothing goes in their favor, the institution is no good. When there's a ruling in their favor, oh, the judiciary is working. When it's not in their favor, oh, the judiciary is... look at how they antagonize the EC. Look at where we are now. Wrote all kinds of things, accused the EC of all kinds of things, said they had 250 errors, couldn't even present 5. Today, the register and the statistics are... Yeah. When even EC said, we're going to give you the provisional in 2 weeks, 1 week, they're antagonizing the EC. I think EC has spent more time responding to the NDC. Yeah. So that is what we want the ordinary Ghanaian to know. That it's about this nation. It's about what laws and rules that we've put in to govern this nation. Just as we go to the polls and vote for a president, vote for members of parliament based on these legislations. When we had a Supreme Court, the election petition, we've had 2. 2012 and 2020. Yes. This was the same judges that ruled. In 2012, what did Nana Akufo-Addo say? He disagrees, but he accepts it. He didn't go burning ties, pushing party people to go, insulting Supreme Court judges, threatening to kill judges and all that. It's a matter of rule of law. You disagree, use the remedies to rectify it.
Right.
But this issue of taking a seat, and when you talk about it, you say, oh, and Afenyo Markin is obsessed with a B majority. What are they doing in there, sitting there, if they are not obsessed with that? Let's all agree that we are governed by laws, and what the law says, what the judiciary says. If we disagree, there are remedies to it. But it's not about doing things unruly. Today, there's a ruling. The issue is right at the doorstep of Speaker, who is the head of the legislature, and he has made all of us understand that he's number 3. I think he needs to do what the number 3 has to do. And let's have government do it. At least, if for nothing at all, a budget has to be passed at least for the first quarter of 2025. That borders on the lives of ordinary citizens in this country.
Thank you very much, Lawuratu. Thank you.